For our short film series on Oldisleben farming in Thuringia, we arrived at the farm business in autumn. In part 5, we take a look at the farm's tillage and wheat sowing work, and spend a fun day with the team during grain maize harvesting. We start in the fields around Heldrungen, to the east of the farm premises at Oldisleben. The farm's crop manager is on the way to one of his colleagues who is out working with one of the seed drills. Here at Oldisleben, winter wheat is typically sown on rotation, for instance, after canola or before maize or spelt. The aim is to finish the work before mid-November in order to give the wheat enough time to tiller, but also to ensure they don't run into problems driving over the fields. Here, team member Ronald is out working with the Magnum 370 CVX, the largest standard tractor they have on the farm. The Horsch seed drill has a working width of 9 meters. This field encompasses 30 hectares, which is an average field size for Oldisleben farming. In previous short films from this series, we introduced you to the farm business in detail. The farm manager and owner of Oldisleben farming is Markus Hirscher. A farmer and agricultural engineer by education, he tries to spend as much time as possible out on the fields in addition to his work in the office. The Lemken Solitaire 12 is a few years old and was bought second-hand. It had only done 4,000 hectares for its previous owners, so they're planning for it to really get stuck in here at Oldisleben. This field, which they call Hercules, was featured during tillage work in part 4 of this series. After painstakingly breaking up the organic lucerne crop on this field, they are now in the final stages of reseeding it with organic winter wheat for seed propagation. With the 12-meter wide Solitaire, team member Marcel can achieve a daily acreage performance of up to 150 hectares, depending on the conditions. The seed hopper on the seed drill has a capacity of 6,000 litres. Because the machine is not fitted with any additional tools, they have to ensure that the seedbed is perfectly prepared. In this case, Clemens is taking care of this just up ahead with the new seedbed combination from Bednar. The 12-meter wide trailed Swifter from Czech manufacturer Bednar was delivered just in time for autumn and is making a good, reliable impression so far. A whole host of tools all work together to ensure that the seedbed has a fine crumb and the ideal conditions for Marcel with the Solitaire. It takes Clemens around 12 hours to complete the 120-hectare field. The 583 horsepower Challenger is from an affiliated farm and spends a few days a year working here in Oldisleben. Just recently, a second versatile Delta Track 610 was ordered for Oldisleben farming. Oldisleben itself is located at the foot of the Kyffhauser Mountains to the north of Erfurt in the German state of Thuringia. Oldisleben farming farms over 50% of its land organically and raises beef cattle alongside its arable activities. A successful organic farm specifically requires organic fertilizer, which can be spread on the fields in the form of manure from the beef cattle as part of a circular economy. This also helps to maintain the health and fertility of the soil. Oldisleben farming currently employs 15 permanent staff members and apprentices, as well as several seasonal workers. During his agricultural apprenticeship on the farm, one of Hannah's tasks is to look after the water buffalo. In collaboration with the conservation organisation NABU, the farm sets aside 65 hectares of inland salt lake for extensive year-round grazing. The water buffalo, which weigh up to 1,200 kilograms each, naturally cultivate this species-rich habitat, while also helping neighbouring communities to keep the flood control channels clear during heavy rain. At the beginning of November, the weather in the driest region of Germany finally showed its wetter side. It was quite tricky for us to arrange the right time to come and film the grain maize harvest. For days, the fog between Schmucke and Kaifhauser just did not want to clear away. So for now, we'll take a look at some primary tillage with the plough. They mainly plough the organically farmed fields in order to keep the weeds and disease pressure to a minimum for the next crop. To do this, they're using one of the biggest ploughs in Germany. We've seen the 610 horsepower versatile tracked tractor carrying out various tasks before. Pulling the 12-share reversible plough is certainly a challenge for it. With its 2 furrow presses, the implement alone weighs over 10 tons. Before winter wheat is sown, the field is ploughed to a depth of around 20 centimetres. To create a winter furrow, the depth is up to 25 centimetres. When turning, the field boundary at the 20-metre wide headland is marked out using GPS technology. But Christian still needs to trigger the lifting, turning and placement manoeuvres manually from the plough's operating terminal. This involves the last 4 shares being turned first of all, followed by the front 8 shares. The working width is set to approximately 6 metres. Within 24 hours, 140 hectares have to be covered by this tractor and implement. The Delta track can hold 1,700 litres of fuel in the tank, which should be plenty for this level of output. Due to the weather, we only just managed to catch the last field being harvested for grain maize in mid-November. The Case IH 9230 and Rostelmash Torum 770 are working in tandem to harvest this 1 kilometre long field right by the river Unstrut. This is the 3rd season for the 520 horsepower Torum 770 at Oldisleben farming. With its Zweedberg track systems, this combine is perfectly equipped for the autumn weather conditions. The Torum is manufactured in Rostov am Don and is currently the most powerful combine made by the Russian manufacturer. The rotary combine copes well with all kinds of crops. There are a few hundred hectares of organically and conventionally grown grain maize to harvest at Oldisleben farming. The yields were extremely variable in 2020, as were the harvesting conditions. On many fields, the conventional maize crop brought in up to 13 tons per hectare. The team is very happy with the clean threshing results and minimal losses they've seen here, as well as during the grain harvest. The 8-row header by Geringhof is a good fit for the Torum. The guidance system will be upgraded to Trimble's RTK technology for the 2021 harvest. Geringhof has been an active market player for 140 years and is a well-known header manufacturer for maize and other crops. The Maize Star Horizon is currently their best-selling header among farmers and contractors, and can be used on a Rostelmash combine with no issues. The maize plants are pulled up by two snapping rules. The ear is then stripped off, and the plant remains are chopped up by the underfloor chopper positioned slightly to the side. The straw is then spread evenly on the ground. There are no drive chains or belts requiring maintenance on a Geringhof header. Several demonstrations of Rostelmash machines are planned for the 2021 cereal harvest, and a few combines purchased by farmers will be going into operation. You can find out more on this via the email address appearing on your screen. Oldisleben farming's storage capacity is around 20,000 tonnes across 3 locations. The majority is taken up by cereals. The grain maize is only temporarily stored and dried, and should normally be sold off until the end of the year. Such exciting, rare machinery, enormous fields, and stunning scenery. For the 2020 season at least, our fascinating film project on Oldisleben farming in Thuringia is coming to an end. We've followed the team time and again as they carried out their important field work, taken a good look at their machinery, and explained the context behind each of their crops and the farm business. If you enjoy our films, why not take a look at our website, www.farmworld.tv. We have lots more documentaries about the world of farming for you to watch.